Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. Hope you guys are doing okay. Been a little bit, been a lot going on, so I hadn't done a video. Yeah, I shaved, just to shave. It's growing back in. Remember in our earlier videos when I talked about SHTF probably will never occur the way you think. All right? It'll be a personal SHTF for you, more than likely. We're not going to have zombies or grid down or all that stuff. More than likely, it's going to be one of the 3 Ds: death, disease, divorce, that affects you as an adult. Loss of a job is another good one. Well, Samantha, our daughter, has leukemia. As of, I think today is Tuesday. As of 4 days ago, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And it's been a really interesting journey, really rough journey so far. Wednesday, she was having fun. I was out of town traveling. They were at church. She was walking around talking smart to everybody. Sam's in her 30s. She's handicapped. She has a heart condition and a thyroid problem, mentally handicapped. And so on her good day, she's about 6 years old. On her bad day, she's probably 3 or 4. The way it is. We knew we'd take care of her. So, Thursday she was fine. Went outside, walked, fed the cats, did that stuff in the yard and all that stuff, all of her little chores that she does. Cleaned her room, folded her clothes and everything. And Friday she started having a nosebleed, which is no problem because Sam always is prone to nosebleeds. She picks her nose, she digs in her nose. She's a kid, even though she's 32, 3. And Shauna called me. I was out of town. I was out of state. And she said, Sam has a nosebleed. And I said, okay. Lean her forward, pinch your nose, calm her down, cool rag, all that stuff. And she said, I already did that. It won't stop. And I said, we have had to go to the doctor, the emergency room, twice before to stop the bleeding. And that's to pack and just calm her down, that kind of stuff. And again, this was Friday. This was 4 days ago. And she said, okay. And she called me back about every 30 minutes for an hour. And she said, I still can't get it stopped. I still can't get it stopped. And I said, okay. And I said, well, it's going to be a trip. And so they got in the truck and they went to UAB, which is her regular doctor. And we have gone for years and years. Shauna and I have been together for 20 years, so gone there for 20 years, and Shauna has taken her there, before that. And she'd recently had gone and had her checkup the end of January, the beginning of February, I think it was. Blood work was good. Levels were good. No problem. And the blood values came back really, really bad, screwy, like the machine was off. And whereas her cholesterol was in the low 200s, in February it was like 1200, and everything was just off the charts. And they started checking, her blood counts and everything, and then they started looking for leukemia, and it turns out it was indeed leukemia. And they said, well, it might not be the acute type. And they were still in the hospital, in the emergency room, and it turns out it was the acute form, the most aggressive. So they started prepping and doing treatment and everything, and they said, you'll be staying here. And Shauna called me, and in between my work travels, I drove down one day to be with him, and then had to drive back to finish work. So in those 4 days, I think I drove 800 miles. And not putting anything to it, just telling you. And so they admitted her at UAB in Birmingham, and they started checking. Because it was weekend, they really couldn't determine what type of leukemia it was. And they said, we'll find out Monday. Today's Tuesday. And it turns out yesterday it was one of the more aggressive types. And they started planning a genetic profile and doing to get ready to do a treatment. And they said, by the way, she has pneumonia, which was mind-blowing because again, she was up running around playing. She every day she walks and does her exercise outside and all that stuff. She doesn't care to go outside, but she does her 40 her 40 up and down the driveway, just to get her heart rate up and everything. And she did fine, and didn't really complain or anything, and still talked back, and had to clean her room, and she cleaned her room and put up all her toys and stuff. And as it has progressed over the weekend, they have had to put her on a ventilator and sedate her. And so she is in that state right now. And they are doing blood work and preparing her for chemo. I think they'll start that this evening. And they're going to do 3 different types of chemos on her. And amidst all of this, I have been sick, so I can't go to the hospital. It's not COVID. I've tested twice, and but it has been vomiting, diarrhea, fever, and so this is just kind of where we sit. More to come. Okay, guys, now we're back. So here we sit. She is, as of Friday evening, she's in the hospital, and they're doing the testing. And we're just floored because she has gone from up and running and playing, doing her chores and watching television with us and eating dinner and working in the yard, and to just about being comatose. They gave her platelets, whole blood, a lot of antibiotics. It turns out, and I think I mentioned it, that she had pneumonia. Where that came from, I have no idea as well. And they saw some spots in her lungs. None of her blood work from the end of January, the beginning of February, let's say the end of January, showed any problems or anything like that, because Shauna is religious about keeping all of her doctor's appointments because of her thyroid problem and her heart problem. So we continue from that, and they say, you know, she had, and they do the CT scans, and UAB is really good, and they are very thorough, and they did CT scans, and they said she had ovary cysts that had ruptured, and we're giving her antibiotics already, so that'll take care of that. Any problems like that, and telling someone that's handicapped at Sam's level to calm down and breathe slow is really hard, and they couldn't get her to breathe slow and easy, and so they ended up putting her on the ventilator, sedated her. They did this late last night, early this morning, and she's still fighting that, so they have to continually sedate her because she doesn't understand. And they went ahead and did the genetic profile, I think it is, to determine the best course of treatment, and they determined that they were going to give her all three to help increase her chance of survival. So this is kind of where we sit as of today, Tuesday. Is it the 4th? I don't know. Shauna had lost her mother, you might remember, back in Thanksgiving of last year, and she and I had talked when all this was going on with Sam, and she said, I really want to be with her every second that I can, and that means I'll be up here all the time. Is that going to be okay with us, or cause a problem with us, Shauna and myself? I said, not a problem. Go ahead and do what you need to do. She said, I know you have to work and do everything and take care of the house and the yard and, you know, all the other stuff. And she said, but I want to be here with her until we come home. And I said, do it. No need to talk about it. We'll do it. And so that's what we're doing right now. So she's up there with Samantha, and Samantha's father. I'm her stepfather. Samantha's father is up there with them, and his wife, her stepmother. are up there, and they're all, hanging out, taking care of everything up there at UAB. Once I get over the flu, I'll be able to go up there and visit. But this is just kind of where we are right now, so there's probably not going to be a whole lot of, other videos going on. I'll post. I still have some obligatory videos that I have to generate for some sponsors, and I'll do them. But this is just kind of where we are, guys. And so you plan and prepare when these things happen, life insurance, health insurance. Yeah, all that. All that's good. That's great. We got that. Yeah. But then life happens and other things happen. So this is where we sit, and I'll give you updates as things progress. But right now she is sedated, ventilated. They have a PICC line in. They're doing the 3 different chemos. I don't know if they combine them or what. No idea. Probably not. But I've got a lot of friends that still work at UAB, and so they're also checking in professionals who are keeping an eye on her as well. And we're just going to see what happens. All of our friends and family from church have been fantastic, and the support's been overwhelming. They've even been coming by and checking on me to see how I'm doing with, I don't know. Some people say it's COVID-A strain that I've got. I don't know. That it doesn't test. I don't know. I've tested twice and it's all negative so far. But I would really appreciate your thoughts and prayers for Samantha, because this is bad. And you all the other videos we've talked and done all these things, 4,000 videos. So I'll tell you about this too. It's going to be a long video, but you never know. You never know. I got nothing else to say. Take care of you people.